and then I'll talk a little bit more about the courses that we're offering and go into a little bit more detail on the MBA top-up, which is offered at distance learning, blended learning and face-to-face routes. Right at the end, I'll leave a little bit of time for questions, but I will preempt those questions a little bit by actually providing you with some answers to questions that I think might come up. And then any other questions at the end we can deal with afterwards. So thanks very much for spending the time to listen to me today. I'll get on with it now as quick as I can so that I don't take too long and too much time from you. So thank you. Why ARU, I think, is the first question. And ARU is a very progressive and modern university. We're based in the UK. The first thing perhaps to say is that we're a state university. So we're governed by the state. All of our standards have to be UK accredited, and our qualifications that we offer at all levels are recognised around the world. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to preempting the questions. We are one of the world's top 350 universities, as ranked by the Times Higher Education newspaper. I'm looking here in Yanis is because it's now on there.
Done. Ready?
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you. Okay.
Right. And thanks for the applause. I said I'd be quick, and it's taken 10 minutes to find it. So,
that's okay.
Yeah. So we're one of the world's top 350 universities, which is the top 1.5%, and top 50 in the UK. And you can imagine that's very much bundled up. We were founded in 1858 as a university, initially as the Cambridge School of Art. The founder was actually John Ruskin, and that's why we're called Anglia Ruskin University. He was a famous art critic and social commentator from the 19th century. We're a very vibrant, inclusive and multicultural university. We were named as one of the 20 top rising stars in global higher educational excellence in a recent survey in the US. And we were the only modern university in the UK to get that accolade. We invest heavily within our infrastructure, and over the last 4 years we've spent £115 million in technology and equipment to support our students in each of the ways in which they study, whether they come here face to face, whether you study distance learning, or whether you come here on a blended or block delivered course. We're in the top 250 universities throughout Europe for teaching, and very high in terms of our student satisfaction through teaching. Locationally, I think we're in the best location in the UK. I suppose a lot of people would say that, but I think that we can kind of back that up. Cambridge, which is our main campus and our main international campus, is one of the most famous university cities in the world. I'd say that we've been here for 160 years. Our colleagues in Cambridge have been here for 700 to 800 years. I think it might even be 900 years by now. But it means that it's a really well-known, dynamic, historic city. I'll show you a few pictures later of our campuses. Our second campus is in Chelmsford. It's a more modern city. It's one of the newest cities in the UK to get city status. But both of them have got close proximity to London. So from Cambridge by rail, within 50 minutes you can be at London King's Cross Station, which is right in the centre. And from Chelmsford, within 35 minutes, you can be left the campus. Within an hour, you can be standing outside the Bank of England or any of the major headquarters of global companies as well. So one of the benefits that students get by coming to Anglia Ruskin is the proximity to London, but without having to live in London. There are various reasons for this that I'll go through, and those reasons include safety, they include standard of living, and they also include price as well. So we'll go into that a bit later, but you can see on that map that if you drew a square around from the south of London to the north of Cambridge, including Chelmsford in there, around about 60% of the GDP for the whole UK is generated within that area. So for business and management students, the opportunities that you get to interact with major global companies and with major actors within industry is probably unparalleled from anyone else outside London. Just a quick picture of Cambridge. I was saying it's very historic. There's the river runs through it, people go punting. It's a very cultural experience being in Cambridge. I'll talk through Cambridge a little bit more after the next slide. This is Chelmsford, and it's our medical school. So apart from business and management, we also have other faculties, and we're the newest medical school in the country, where the government asked us to actually establish a medical school so that we got healthcare professionals at the highest level for the region as well as internationally as well. Chelmsford is a very open campus, and you can see from here that there's plenty of space. There's lots of social space for students. Cambridge is more developed because property is very expensive, and obviously being a historic city, there are lots of planning regulations to stop you spreading in terms of development outside. So it's a very enclosed campus, lovely campus again at Cambridge, but the Chelmsford campus is very much open. When we have students come across to the UK for distance or blended learning sessions, they study at Chelmsford because of that space issue. Although when you come over, we also, if you come onto the blended route, which I'll talk about a little bit later, we'll also be in a position where we offer you a trip also to Cambridge so we can show you the kind of historic side. So all of our students, our graduations happen in July. But if there's a lot of students from one country, we actually travel over sometimes, myself and the Dean and Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Packham. We travel over and we meet students and we provide them with a more informal type of graduation. But you'll be given all the details about graduation ceremonies. Anyone who studies at any level and at any medium, like distance and blended, you're all Anglia Ruskin students, so the graduation options are all open to you. The graduations take place in two places, one in Cambridge, which is the Corn Exchange. You can see that online. It's a major historic venue for a theatre, for live music and those sort of things. It's a lovely building, and we fill that out with students over a week in July as well. In Chelmsford, the graduations take place at Chelmsford Cathedral. Chelmsford Cathedral is once again a large space. It's a lovely lovely piece of architecture, and it's a really nice venue to hold lots of people and to celebrate people's successes. We're a very inclusive and supportive university. We have a diverse student population. We've got over 180 different nationalities that study with us at any one time. And I'm quite proud to say that for January this year, for our present intake, those students come from 185 different countries. So when students come across here, they get the opportunity to network and to learn from other people's cultures and other people's values as well. And I think that's important, because to be a business person or to be a manager, the main skill, in my mind at least, that you need is one for communication. So when you've got these people and these opportunities around, you can interact with these other students and with all of the people who come to teach you from business, industry, academia, and you can develop a very strong network of people that you may be working with years ahead that might be able to help you as well within your future careers. We have a number of other spaces and support for students on campus. I won't go into that too much at the moment because I know I've wasted a lot of your time by trying to get onto that presentation. Cambridge as a city, as I was saying before, it's very historic. It's been renowned as a centre of learning since the 13th century. It's well known for its history. You can walk round, you can see the apple tree where the apple fell off onto Isaac Newton's head when he founded gravity. You can walk past the house where Charles Darwin lived. You can walk past numerous famous buildings. So the historical associations for Cambridge are significant. It's a very vibrant city. There's lots going on in the city, but also there's a wide variety of food as well. So Arabic food, there's some wonderful restaurants in Cambridge that sell everything from Lebanese, all types of Arab food as well. The city has got around 35,000 university students in there. The benefit here is that you've only got 2 universities. Students can get work experience quite easily when they study with us because of the fact that there's not universities all around the corner. With just the 2 universities within that region, and it provides our students with massive opportunities. It's also one of the top 10 safest cities in the UK. So when I was saying the benefits of being close to London, but living outside, that is a major benefit for our students. We know we have students here all the time. We have no problems with safety issues. If you're in one of the larger cities like London, you can imagine it's not quite as safe as it would be in somewhere like Cambridge or Chelmsford. Whoops, I've done something wrong here again. Chelmsford, on the other hand, is a modern city. It's a very green city. It's rated as one of the top 10 cities to live in the UK by the Sunday Times newspaper. And a lot of people live in Chelmsford and commute to London. They work every day in the city and then come back to Chelmsford afterwards because it's so close. It's one of the first Roman settlements in Britain, although you wouldn't actually notice when you got here. It doesn't look overly Roman. It looks very modern, but probably in terms of history, its claim to fame is the birthplace of radio. It was the first place that Guglielmo Marconi set up a factory and set up manufacturing, and the first radio broadcast in the 1920s, live radio broadcast, was actually broadcast globally from Chelmsford. So it has got a lot of history. It's close to London. The second benefit of actually studying and living in Chelmsford is so close to London, but much, much more affordable. So the standard of living is high, the cost of living is lower. I represent the Faculty of Business and Law, and I've got my Dean and Pro Vice Chancellor here with me at the moment, who's managed to just pop in to say hello. So at the end, probably within the questions, we can do that. Gary, we're a bit running out of time a little bit because we've got quite a lot of students there. Okay, so I've been going through it as quickly as possible and bit by bit.
Hello everyone, I'm Professor Gary Packham. I'm Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean. It's really great to see you virtually. Maybe if I just pick up this part of the presentation. So Simon's already spoken to you about a number of things, but key messages around our faculty is about the developing of responsible leaders and organisations, and the research that we do and the teaching we do around social innovation and justice, i.e. building a smarter, better, more equal society and having a real impact upon the lives of others and the communities we serve. We have a number of award-winning approaches to learning and teaching that's been recognised nationally and internationally, including our own intern programme, which gets students to work with us and the local businesses on real-life problems and situations. Our research is also very much focused on entrepreneurship and innovation, and we hold, in terms of UK government, a world-leading status for the research that the business management and law undertake within our faculty. That research is not for the confines of our professoriate. Our professoriate very much get involved in the teaching and development of our students, and that research finds its way into the classroom because our research is about informing policy and practice. Many of our courses have professional accreditation or offer flexible entry based on professional accreditation and previous experience. And most of our programs require knowledge of or engagement with industry and business. I know that Simon would probably have mentioned our world-leading kind of facilities, but just some examples there are the Bloomberg Financial Markets Lab, which is the industry standard, and our law clinic, which plays a very important role within the East of England, providing local businesses and individuals with advice around business, contract, family and employment law.
Yep.
Just to pick out a couple of other highlights there for you, I often say that you need to judge us by the company that we keep, and our work with places like Barclays, Co-op, UPS and Harrods suggests that these are kind of well-renowned international brands. They have chosen to work with us for a very long time. They do that because we deliver what they want us to deliver, and it's relevant and appropriate for their staff and their managers and leaders. Final thing is just to maybe point out that we pride ourselves on supporting our students, and we have high levels of student satisfaction. Around between 85 and 95% of our students, depending on the course, are very satisfied with the experience, and around 65 to 70% of our students are gaining what we would call good degrees, either at Masters, which is a merit or distinction, or a 2-1 or above at undergraduate or bachelor's level. So I think that I've come in and kind of hijacked the last few minutes, but I was quite pleased to talk to you about that. I don't know.
I mean, I think, and I know, Janos, that you've got the students in, so I think if it's okay with you, I'll go to the questions section, but I will preempt the questions because we've had a conversation before. So I've got some areas and the experience of us talking to the students earlier about what sort of questions will come up. So I can answer some of those in advance and then leave it open for any further questions that we get. So I'll do as much as I can and as well as I can in terms of trying to answer some of your questions that came through. The first one is just to tell you a little bit about the programs that I think will interest you. We were talking about us being a very modern and a flexible university. So we actually look at professional qualifications and qualifications from outside. We recognise that, and we offer a number of different top-up routes. I think the most popular top-up routes from your region is the MBA top-up. And I know that most students that will be coming through will have Qualify Level 7 qualifications. Once you've completed your studies within your centre, we provide you with a top-up route and option of 60 credits, which means you can progress from your professional qualification within a 4-month period through distance learning to our MBA. So you then become a Master of Business Administration with us here at Anglia Ruskin. We also offer a top-up route for our Bachelor of Arts programme in Business Management. That's a top-up. And then if anyone does the Master's top-up and then wants to continue their education, we offer a professional doctorate as well. And that professional doctorate is called a DBA. It's a Doctor of Business Administration. Now within there, we offer different routes and different modes of study. I've already mentioned the distance learning. At MBA time, we also offer a blended learning route. There are 3 intakes a year into that. They're in January at the moment, June and September for the blended. And those intakes will have a month after you start. So the next session's in February, where students will come over for us for about a week or just over a week. They can actually, we'll show them round the campus, and they get really focused teaching in terms of the modules that they do. So for that top-up, you cover 3 modules on top of your qualified qualification. They're a marketing module. I think it's marketing in action. There's also finance for decision makers. And there's not a major project at the end, but it's a module called entrepreneurship in action. And it actually gets you to think about entrepreneurship, and it gets you to think about leadership issues in management. So you can choose something from your own experience, and it's much more of a practical rather than theoretical project. You need to back it up with theory, but it's the practice that's important. We don't just want to offer our students knowledge. We don't just want to offer them theory. We want to provide them with the skills and the tools that they require to turn those and translate those into practice and into success within the workplace. So there are really the three key ones that I can see from the groups that we're going to be talking today. I'll talk a little bit more about the MBA. I mentioned those modules. If you study distance learning, you get plenty of support through our distance learning platforms. We have an online delivery system, which is called Canvas. Once a student gets accepted and they become part of the program, they get an ID number from Anglia Ruskin University. It means that you've got full access to our libraries, full access to all of the learning resources, and you have a dedicated module staff that you will interact with who can support you through the process. And you also get to meet other people, and you can log on and watch video archived lectures that are recorded on site, and then they're actually available for students to watch time and time again if they need to. There will be some of the virtual classes, and when we're doing this today, this is a bit of a trial. This is a little bit of a trial for me. We haven't actually done this by Zoom before in this way. I'm sure you could see that we hadn't actually done it when I was trying to get that presentation up on board. But we're learning all the time on this. And I've always liked the sound of my own voice. I've always liked myself. I'm more than happy, Janos, to do more sessions with the students when they come on board as well. So if you want another session which is more academic, which is more related to your program, I'm sure we can find a couple of hours somewhere along the line where I can here and there do a presentation online like this. Block delivery dates in 2020. I was saying you'll have the block delivery dates, which are the 1 week to 10-day programs where you can get a cultural experience as well. They'll run in around about February, July and November. I've mentioned the 3 courses to be completed. You can actually complete at distance learning stage your program within a minimum of 4 months study. It's a very intense experience, but we do have options, and we will support you if it takes you slightly longer. The students won't be charged extra for attending block delivery in the UK. There's a specific price for block delivery, which is very similar, but students will be expected to cover their own expenses whilst over here. So accommodation and those aspects aren't covered by us within the university. Once you complete, you're sent a transcript and you're sent a letter, initially as an email, which congratulates you on your success and can be used as proof in the first instance that you've got the award. The certificates are sent out before graduation, but all of our graduation ceremonies are now held in July. You'll be receiving details, and the university is very good at sending details on to students about their options in terms of attending graduations. Or, as I was saying to Janos, if we have a big group, we're once again very flexible. Just before Christmas, Gary and I were actually out in Japan doing some stuff with our Japanese students. Regarding attestation, we don't cover that area, but I know that the local partners that we've got with you today, they will help you and support you and provide you guidance on how to do that. Saudi Arabia government have got 2 lists in terms of recognition of universities. The first list includes universities which they provide or they supply with students who are fully funded by the Saudi government over the period. And the second list is the list of recognised institutions within the UK where the qualifications are acceptable and recognised within Saudi Arabia. We fall onto that second list, but I know that there's an issue where you need to get that attested at the end of the programme. So the support, I think, is there provided by our local providers. So that means there's questions about equalising the awards as well. So that will be covered within that attestation process. Hopefully that's preempted some of the questions. Now we're really here. We can answer any other questions you might have.
Okay, thanks. Sam. Okay, so let's do the section for question. Yes, please. Can you come closer and then you can ask the mic? No, I don't know. Simon, Dr. Simon, if you give the microphone, maybe.
Yeah.
I want to show you how many students we have here.
Yeah, my question is about the blended learning. Is it the same like distance learning in terms of the period, 4 months?
Yes, yeah, distance learning is 4 months. The difference if you came onto a blended learning program is we only have certain intake times. So say you didn't want to apply in January, June or September, you would have to wait for the distance learning bit component then. But yes, once you've registered, you get access to all of our online learning materials, you get access to all of the information, and you get the staff there who will introduce themselves through the online learning platform and support you through those 3 modules. It's very intense, but it can be done.
Thank you. Next
Question,
question.
please. About blended program, it's in February, but which day? Is it 18? Blended program.
No, the block delivery. The block delivery dates in February because we have students who are involved.
Yes, yeah. And then the next intake will be, the next one will be in July, I would say.
No, I need to say which date. Is it 18?
Oh, the February one is the 18th, starts on the 18th.
18. Okay. And what about July, which date?
That will be confirmed. I think the July one will be confirmed because the July one is the next intake. So we get the next intake for that one in June. So the dates should be with us very, very shortly.
Another question is, do we have an opportunity to choose another courses instead of marketing, for example, to choose project management, for example? Can we choose another courses? Or this is
no, the top up is very much based around 3 modules that we've identified. So the process is that we look at qualify curriculum, and we've chosen, selected 3 of the most that we think fit better into your qualifications, and they are marketing essentials, finance for decision making, and entrepreneurship in action.
Anybody else?
I have a question actually about Anglia Ruskin University, because as it's recognized by Ministry of Higher Education in Saudi for the Bachelor of Science and Medicine. It's not only recognized, it's recommended. So does the university have the intention to do the same for the MBA program, which we are looking for?
So I didn't quite catch that. Is he saying that it's recognised?
So the university is recognized by the Ministry of Higher Education in Saudi for the Bachelor of Science and Medicine, like medicine studies. And it's actually recommended. This is how it's said in the website of Ministry of Higher Education.
Yeah.
Does the university has the intention to do the same recognition?
I'm sure. I think within a lot of our programs that we run here are Bachelor of Science, actually, even though it's a BA in terms of business management. But if those aren't on the list, I can actually make sure that I talk to our international colleagues to make sure that they're expressly mentioned within there.
Thank you.
I think yes. I'll have a look into that.
Thank you. So next question. I had this question before from the students. In the degree itself, it's not mentioned if you have studied in, let's say, in Saudi Arabia, or you studied in UAE, or you studied in China. In the degree, it's not mentioned. Yes, is it correct?
No. Yes, you get the certificate is a certificate which is Anglia Ruskin. We give it. The certificate will come out with top up, but it will also come out with Anglia Ruskin University, Chelmsford and Cambridge, or Cambridge and Chelmsford.
But in the degree itself is mentioned Master of Business Administration, and in the transcript is mentioned like qualified level 7, 120 credits, and the 3 courses. Is it correct?
Yeah. So what we do is we recognise the previous learning, yet the certificate comes from us as being equivalent to the normal MBA. So the student actually gets the MBA.
Okay. There's another question. I had it before. Students would like to know the WES. No, it's the same, Master of Business Administration. The title, exactly. The title of on the degree is Master of Business Administration.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Not Anglia Ruskin Cambridge. No, I'm not sure. Well, is it showing that one? Oh, it is coming from there, but it's not mentioned in the degree. Yes. Okay, it's exactly as a booklet. Yes. Yes. And some students asked about the WES from Canada.
The
WES, World Education Service in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want Anglia Ruskin, I know is listed. If the students would like to use this one to be recognized, do they have any problem, or based on the past experience?
Are you talking about the recognition of our degrees,
yes,
or what we recognize onto our degrees?
Yes. In the WES.
Yeah, well, you know, it's I haven't checked, but all our degrees are recognised within other UK, US, Canadian formats, etc. So I would not see any issue with that. I haven't got it in front of me as to what's that, but we've never had that question or had any issues with that before.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the other issue is, I mean, we have got a very healthy population of students in the region. So we have quite a lot of Saudi students, some of the neighbours of Saudi, particularly Jordan and those areas. We have a regular stream of students, a very, very good community of students from those areas. And we've never had any issue in terms of recognition. I would suggest that you always check the website, particularly in terms of the requirements for distance learning, because politics changes quite quickly, and policies change quite quickly. But at the moment, and I mean for many years, and within the sector, I'm going back many, many years myself, we've never had an issue with non-recognition of our programs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I will keep.
Yeah. But I think it's better to come closer. Come closer, yeah, because I'm not sure if they can hear you very well. Come here. You can also, at least they can see you.
Okay, yeah, Doctor.
Hello.
Question. You mentioned in the booklet that I have to attend the 4 days in October, right?
Yeah.
This is it's mandatory time to attend. And for example, if I will finish my modules in December, so should I wait until October 2021?
Yeah, I think if you finish in at that time, you're in your access point for the blended learning. If you want to come to the campus for that week or so, you would need to apply in October, and it would be a January intake.
No, you can do it here. Can you just ask this one? Can you ask this question? Yeah. Can you ask this question? Yeah.
Yeah. question, please. Actually, I applied for January intake,
Yeah.
and just I want to ask when we can get the acceptance letter and the invitation letter, because actually I'm running out of time and I want to catch the 18th of February. And you know,
Okay.
for the visa, so it takes time. So just I want to plan my schedule when I can expect to get the invitation letter and the acceptance letter.
I mean, the invitation, when did you apply?
Last week.
Oh, last week. You should have it by 7 working days, somewhere around about there. So I would say early next week.
Early next week. Acceptance letter and then the invitation letter to apply for the visa.
The visa letter, what we recommend students, you would come over on what's called a visiting student visa. So it's a very short-term visa, but the university provides you with a letter, which is the official offer and the requirement to travel over here, and then you will then apply for the visa to the British consulate in Saudi, who will then issue that for the duration of your stay.
Yeah, because usually it takes time from 15 to 20 days to get the visa. Yeah. This is why we are planning to get it as well.
No, don't worry. I'll chase that as well. I'll make sure that
it will be great.
Smoothly in terms of our questions.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you.
Hi, hello. Thank you for the presentation. I have one question to ask. One of the required documents is a professional reference. Well, for my case, I don't work, so is it an obligation to have a professional reference?
Gary. It doesn't work, but you need a professional qualification to do that. No, reference, not qualification, a professional reference. So if you're not working, what's the issue?
Are you able to provide references from your previous educational or other kind of professional standing? Anyone that can give you that's got a relevant status, either professional, educational, as an alternative?
Well, I'm thinking, Yanis, through your centre where the qualified.
We can also always, yes, we do that, yes. So we can provide the reference.
Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, and also when you apply, if you apply, just remember to mention on your application that we've had this session, that you've met me and Gary, because then if there's a problem, it will get referred to me, and it'll be easy for me to pick up on it for you.
I'll add a video. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions?
I just was wondering what are the added value if I'm gonna get the blended learning?
What's the added value?
What's the added value I will get from the blended learning?
Blended learning,
rather than having the distance learning.
Yeah, that's an easy one to answer. I mean, even though it's very short duration, it's the international experience. So where I was talking earlier of networking, you'll be with students from a lot of different countries. We will give you a cultural experience as well, and it's that experience which is very good on the CV, that you've attended classes within an international university somewhere outside your own country. The value of the qualification is no different. So, I mean, in terms of the blended and the distance, the value of the qualification is no different. I'd say your main benefit is because you've actually got that international experience. It's something you can put down on your CV, that you've attended those sessions at the university that you study in the UK. Students
that do the blended learning really talk about the peer-to-peer learning, the advantages of peer-to-peer work with others, and also the networks that you build with other leaders, senior people, managers, networking, professional and personal development, rather than any difference in the qualification itself.
Thank you.
Okay, one last question, please. If I'm going to apply on June intake,
yes. Yep.
Is it possible to catch the sessions that will be conducted on October for the blended learning?
I think you've broken up a bit there.
Okay.
Can you say that again?
I would say it again. If I'm gonna apply on June for intake, okay, is it possible to catch the sessions that will be conducted in October?
The sessions that you get on blended are in July, so it's exactly the same. You register in June, your session will be in July.
June, July, and then September.
So if I'm gonna apply on June, it's possible to travel after 1 month in July. And,
Yes. Yeah, if you go through the blended route, you get your offers and your information about traveling to the UK in July.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello.
My question is regarding the 3 courses that you mentioned we need to take for the MBA.
Yeah.
They will be available to us as online recorded classes, or we can have virtual attendance in the class?
No, it's online classes, but within those online classes, you will also have the opportunity to download lecture capture, is what we call it. So within your online learning platform, there'll be a series of lectures and other materials which you can log on to, and you can watch them. You will get support from module delivery staff and also from a course leader. So all of the materials will be provided for you, plus more. You've got, I think, around about 100,000 books and journals as well within our online libraries. As an Anglia Ruskin student at distance, you get access to all of those materials.
Also, my question, what is the total time for the completion of these, the top-up program?
Yeah, it's the one that you're looking at on the top-up is very intensive. And you can actually start off and you can actually complete your program after 4 months of study.
4 months is the minimum you can finish.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any more questions? One of the students is asking about the assignment submission. So if they, let's say they have to do marketing, they do it in 1 month and then they submit, and they do the next finance and submit. Is it correct?
That's right, yeah. So marketing will be the first. They get 2 different types of paper, which one's project-based, very practical in terms of doing a plan, and then putting that into action. They submit, and then they start on their second module, which will be finance for decision-making, and then the longer module at the end is the entrepreneurship in action. But they're all submitted online. They're all submitted through Turnitin, and then the results come at the next, probably it's about 3 weeks afterwards. They'll get the final result.
All of them is assignment based, yes?
Yes, yeah, there's no exams.
Awesome.
No intakes for everything. It's only 3 intakes. One of the students asking about the distance learning is still, we have 3 intakes, yeah? We have February, June, and September or October, yes.
Yeah, for this, yeah.
No, all intakes is the same for every landed and everything. There's only 1 assignment for each, so it's getting a little bit noisy. But for example, if they do marketing, it's only 1 assessment. Is it correct?
There are 2 assessments for the marketing one, but one follows on from the other. So the student will will complete one, which is, for example, the marketing plan and thinking about marketing planning. And the second one is to apply that to something else. Okay. So even though there are 2 assessments, the assessments are linked.
And how about in finance?
Finance, I think it might be quite similar, but it will be a review of some kind of financial plans, some kind of financial reports. So there's various bits within there. But when the students actually get the online resources, they'll get an assignment and they'll see what the assignment is in advance. Now, something I say to all students, when you look at that, it might look like one assessment, but there are different components to it.
Okay.
And when you go in there, there's a grid, a marking grid. Now, a bit of advice for all students studying is have a look at that grid, because it gives you the breakdown of how many marks are going to be awarded for each aspect of the assessment. So, for example, 10% or 10 marks might be added for introduction. Now, the students of distance learning who tend to struggle sometimes will spend 20% of their time on the introduction when it's only worth 10% of the marks. So it's not just the question, it's translating the question, having a look at the criteria, the marking criteria, and making sure that you put the right amount of weight within the assessments for each of those.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a deadline for each course? Let's say they started marketing, they have 1 month, or does they have a deadline? Sorry.
No, they'll give you the latest deadline. So one thing I say to students is, another bit of advice from me, you'll be given a deadline that it needs to be submitted by. Always try and submit a week before, or at least a few days before, in case you find any problems. If students struggle, students can actually ask for an extension. But we try to get, because of the tight deadlines, we try to get as many through in time as possible.
Okay, thanks very much. Just one second. But we have so many questions, guys, you need to go back. Yes. One of the students asking about the GPA. Just one second.
Hello, and thank you for the presentation.
Hello.
I just would like to ask about the GPA.
GPA?
Yeah, what is going to be in the transcript? Is it pass and fail, or is it going to be numbered?
GPA is very much North American. The UK system doesn't do GPA at all. If you're in the US, GPA is important, but here you don't get it at all on the transcript, but you get the transcript with your percentage marks on.
Okay, percentage.
Yeah.
Dr. Sami, just one thing. On the degree itself, we see pass. Okay, what is the pass mentioned? Why is it? It can be merit distinction as well on the degree itself. On the
when you do the top up, you will get the MBA, our MBA.
Yes.
But there's no grading on it. You actually pass the MBA. But what you also get is the transcript, and the transcript will give the percentage marks.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks. One second. I think you mentioned yes. Yes. Yeah, they can do it. Yes. One of the students is asking about DB, but I think he came late. And it is possible to do DB. I will share you the
Yep.
Sorry. One time, yes. One time. Yeah, 3 courses, yes. And then 1 day each course, and then you do complete it. Yes. Yes.
For the final submission, there is a stop and check chapter by chapter or one time?
Okay, I think we have lots of discussion, but they have to go back to the class.
Yes,
so I think if they have some more questions, I will collect it and I send it to you, Dr. Simon. Is it okay?
Please do, Yanis. Yeah, and once again, I was saying I'm more than happy to do another session with them, and it'd be nice sometime in the future to meet them face to face.
One of the students asked you about payment, but I said you won't be able to answer probably.
No. Well, I mean, that's from another different department, but I think Yanis, you'll have the detail on that.
Sure.
We can deal with that through NetID.
Okay. What I could do, I can just maybe collect some of the questions and I'll forward it to you. Is it okay?
Send them to me, and I'll send you back responses to them, and we can hopefully get them all sorted out like that.
No worries, because they have to go back to the class. Okay. Thanks again to Dr. Simon. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Professor.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you. Bye. Bye.